You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! There is no spoon, and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 160. I am one of your hosts, the perennial dating app swiper from Portland, Oregon, Christian Macias, and I'm joined over Discord today by Kentucky's #1 Spartan and PXN founder, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM.
Hello.
The president of the Tifa Lockhart fan club. He is the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire at Roro.
Hello, greetings.
And if for you visual watchers, no Gage today. He is off on assignment. He is playing the new God of War, Ragnarok. No, he's not. He's at work and we'll be back in 2 weeks. But we wish he was playing God of War.
Yeah.
Tarkov, tell us that we miss you.
Miss you.
How's everyone doing?
Doing good. I'm excited to talk video games with the boys.
The lads? I am too.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, twitch.tv/Podcast PXN, and Twitter as well. Actually, that's not true. I need to remove that. Twitter, no longer. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Twitter.
Bye-bye, Twitter.
Sorry, Elon.
Shut up, dude. Forcing him to buy it. I have some housekeeping for you guys. We've got a trailer reaction video to the Mario Bros. Movie that is up on our YouTube channel, and that is hosted by the Nintendo aficionado himself. Find out whether or not you agree with his thoughts. We've also got it as a news item later today, so we can regurgitate some of those thoughts here on the show. And then the links to everything, as always, up on our website, podcastpxn.wixsite.com/podcastpxn. Links below, whatever. Folks, the topic of the show this week is into the MetaQuest-verse, but first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Some quick bites, getting a lot of the stuff out of the way super quickly as best we can. God of War Ragnarok has gone gold. Congratulations to the team at Sony Santa Monica that launches November 9th. Quote, on behalf of SMS and all of our partners, thank you to the fans for supporting us over the course of development. We're almost to launch. Oh, that does make sense. Yes, I'm sorry. We're almost to launch. I can't wait for you to play on November 9th. That is less than a month away, and yes, we are very excited as well. Can't wait.
It's going to be good.
By the way, we all have PS5s now on the on this podcast.
So, spoiler cast?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm down. I am down.
Yes, please.
We'll talk. We got a tease for something, a new Crash Bandicoot game, supposedly in the works and announced at this year's The Game Awards. This comes from Nibel. We're looking at a picture of something that was sent somewhere. I don't even know. I don't know what the context is for this, but it's supposed to be a tease for an upcoming Crash Bandicoot game. It'll be announced soon. We'll see.
We'll see.
Are you going to play it?
Am I going to play it?
Yeah. You've never played one, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I have never played a Crash game before. I don't know if Crash 4 is the jumping on point, but maybe it is.
Can I say something? It's my least favorite Crash Bandicoot game.
Oh.
I didn't like it that much.
Well, then.
I'm a hater though. What do I know?
Interesting. This is like a secret package that people got. It looks like, which is, definitely a tease or an announcement is coming soon based on the video that I'm watching right now. But hopefully it's at the Game Awards. That'd be cool. Makes sense.
Very cool.
Is this not like a digital thing? Is it, or is it like is that a real box?
It was a real box, it looks like.
I guess I should have watched the YouTube video and not just gone off the pictures, but yeah, anyway. I guess we'll find out this December if a new Crash game is actually on the way. But until then, you can get your hands on a new Xbox controller with a color Lunar Shift, and it looks pretty sexy.
It's got
my Twitter isn't opening, so I can't give you details on it.
Let's see. I am not seeing much details on it either. It just a nice looking controller.
It is a nice looking. There we go. Just opened. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Silver gold shimmer. Mm.
Yeah.
I like the back of it too. It almost looks like it had on the textured part. It's like a little almost like crater kind of design to it. It looks nice.
It's also
a hot controller.
It's like a little gold sprinkle in there on the front of it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice, very nice.
They
I
do.
like it.
They do a really good job with their custom controllers. Looks very
Yeah. Eat your heart out. Gray camo.
Step your game up, PlayStation.
Guys, last week we were talking about Kojima teasing something. We didn't know who it was. And then shortly after, we found out it was indeed Elle Fanning. That was the silhouetted poster face. Kojima has continued to tease something with more posters of silhouetted figures. This time a new one saying, "Where am I?" And this looks like maybe that might be Mark Qualley. I don't know. But he teased like a pattern. So it starts with Tokyo Game Show, Who? That was his first tease. And that ended up being number 1, L. And then at PAX Australia is where we got the Where. But as to who that poster is, we don't know. Number 2 is all question marks. Again, that might be Mark Qualley. We don't know. And then he left space for more. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3 more question mark areas. So there's a what maybe and more and more and more. Is it Death Stranding 2? Is it Project Ocean that we talked about last week? Is it the Xbox horror game? I don't know, but I'm all on board for weird unveilments like this. I just love Kojima.
He has the weirdest freaking unveilings.
I love it. It's so fun just to be brought along this ride for whatever he might be teasing. Hell yeah, I'm all for it. I think he actually, I don't know if this was a Kojima picture, but I think I saw a picture of the actress that was revealed. I already forgot her name, Elle Fanning, in like not a mocap suit, but like in a mocap studio, like doing like a super high kick. I don't know if that was with Kojima, but it seemed to be attached to whatever project she was working on with him. I have to see if I could find it again. It's actually in the replies for this tweet, actually.
Kicking
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Kicking confirmed in his next title.
There we go.
I don't see any of this when I scroll down. Show this thread, maybe? No, that's a different thread.
I'll just
Show
send
more
it.
replies.
I'll send it in the Discord here, so in our chat. But yeah, it looks like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he's got cooking up.
Somebody put Mike's face in there from Better Call Saul / Breaking Bad.
There's been so many. Yeah, I love that one too. There's been so many that I've seen. Yeah, the Mike one is up there. It's one of my favorites. Before I move on, I think Kojima Studios is really cool. Not just because of their weird way of teasing stuff, but like their studio culture seems really cool. There's always like once a week there's a picture of Kojima just. Oh shit! I forgot to do timestamps. I mean, I started the countdown, but I didn't mark down when we started timestamps. Anyway, well, I'll keep moving on. But yeah, there's like pictures of him like gathering the whole studio together to like watch they watch a movie every week. It's like, oh, we're watching this today. It's like this is kind of sweet.
Nice. That's cute.
Anyway, moving on. Don't Nod has 8 games in its current pipeline set for release between 2023 and 2025. Me and Ro are real excited. We're gonna eat some details for you. 5 of those games are going to be self-published titles, 1 co-production with Focus, and 2 games with external studios, Tolima and Tiny Bull, that Don't Nod will publish. That is a lot of Don't Nod content coming your way in the next 3 years.
Heck yeah. Hope at least one of them is a Life is Strange game or spin-off or something. But yeah, I'm down for anything. Like I'm trying to play an old Don't Nod game called Remember Me because I've heard mixed things, but I want to give it a shot. Want more outside of Life is Strange Don't Nod in my life as well. So I'm excited for their other projects.
Isn't Don't Nod is making The Expanse, right? The Telltale series?
I think they're working with them, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I think they were writing, right? But it's I forget what that was.
I forgot too.
If only Gage were here, he's the only one that's excited.
God, here we go.
Moving on, we got a look at the PlayStation Plus catalog coming for October. Big lineup, some pretty big hitters coming to PlayStation Plus. Vice City Definitive Edition, Dragon Quest 11, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Syndicate, and 3, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, China, India, Russia, Dragon Quest Builders 1+2, Dragon Quest Heroes 1+2, Inside, Play Inside, The Medium, Naruto to Boruto, Hohokum, great indie game. That was a question on one of our Jeopardy games that no one got. And then premium titles coming in October: Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 remastered, Limbo, play Limbo, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and Everyday Shooter. There's some hitters in there. PlayStation Plus continue to grow their lineup. So if you're on the other tiers, was it extra and premium? You might want to play one of these if you haven't already.
Just wanted to also correct the previous story with the Telltale and Don't Nod. It's actually Deck 9 that they're working with.
That's right. Yes.
Which did develop a Life is Strange True Colors and remastered in other Life is Strange games. But we just got them mixed up with Don't Nod, which developed the original one, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
We got there. Thank you, bro. Moving on, I'm personally really excited about this. Among Us VR finally gets its release date. It's launching November 10th on Meta and on Steam, and it's only $10. I can't wait, dude. This is gonna be tons of fun. If you have a Quest or if you have a VR on Steam, you should pick this up. I know I will. Dan, I'm gonna make you get this with me.
I'm down. We're gonna tear some stuff up. I'm interested to see how like the communication works in that because does it have
Proximity.
Oh, okay. It does have that. Okay. Yep. Cool. Heck yeah.
They figured it out, Dan. They figured it out.
I'm down.
Moving on. Indie developer Alexander S. is working on a body cam style game, and it looks really cool. It's an FPS. And, dude, the graphics on this are insane. Like, it almost looks like real life, like when I'm just watching this on full screen. Actually, it does. Like, the way the light hits against, like, the body cam. It looks real. Can you imagine a horror game with this setting?
Oh man.
God.
Terrifying.
No, this looks really cool. And it's first person, but it's from like a slightly higher perspective, but I just like the body cam feel. Like the fisheye lens is probably what's giving off the different feel of it. But yeah, this is really cool. And it looks real, which is kind of scary. But yeah, it looks awesome. Technology is going crazy right now.
And like the shake. Oh, sorry.
Oh, please.
I was just saying, like the shake of it, like it does very much mimic like body cam footage, right? Rather than you looking through the eyes of the person. It is cool.
Yeah. I totally don't remember what I was going to say, but I will also add that we were talking about this during Modern Warfare 2 when the beta was out, like the way you spectate players with the helmet and like body cam, like that was awesome. So like having a game that's played like this might be pretty cool. Indie developers, I love you to death. You make cool stuff, so thank you.
Yes.
And speaking of indie developers, Garamond has joined the roster of racers and Bloodborne Kart. I can't wait for this one. If you enjoyed Bloodborne PSX, get Bloodborne Kart on your radar ASAP because he's been working on this for quite some time and it looks stunning.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know this was a thing. This is great.
Dude. I've been real excited about this one. He's the one that did the demake for the PlayStation 1 style Bloodborne. But it's pretty much almost 1-to-1, just looks like a PS1 game. But like Bloodborne Kart, come on.
This is incredible. Oh my god. Good for them.
Folks, we are entering the not safe for work porno zone, all right? So if you're a little sensitive to porno stories, tune out for a few minutes.
Grandma Warner, we're looking at you.
Yes. Also, we apologize. Number 1. Overwatch 2's Diva shoots to the top of Pornhub searches. I have nothing to add to this. All I know is that I've been seeing a lot of Diva cosplay and Diva like videos on my Twitter. This is just on Twitter of people going absolutely feral for a supposedly more caked up version of Diva. They're saying that, they did not nerf her butt between Overwatch 1 and 2. Her butt looks better. I don't know what's going on. I don't play Overwatch 2, but people are going feral, and so they are on Pornhub as well.
My God. Yeah, I mean,
you gonna check this out?
I'm not gonna confirm or deny. I'm gonna check this out. But the animation side of it is also like the hentai, I guess, if you will, of Diva is like super popular as well. Of just Overwatch in general has been like the top of the charts in like those categories. I've heard, I don't know.
I've heard,
My sources tell me.
Sure.
Yeah. So if Overwatch is going to be popular among the gamers, it's going to be popular among, the the smut watchers, I guess, for whatever reason.
I'm gonna add to like TikTok is just showing me videos of Diva like in the game, not doing anything crazy. Like
Right.
there's like one where she's like getting out of her mech and she's just like, I don't know, wiggling around, and like immediately you gotta go to the comments because someone's talking about this, and then lo and behold, everyone is. I saw a video yesterday of her like getting hit, and she just like anime moans. I'm just like, well, go to the comments again.
Oh god.
Yeah, I almost did the moan too, but I figured I probably shouldn't.
Oh Diva.
Just
Diva.
go all the way with it, Christian.
No, I can't.
I can't be a Diva main anymore. People will call me
No,
weird
you definitely
now.
can. Moving on. This is probably my favorite story of the week. Splatoon AV adult video trends in Japan after a VTuber chroma keyed the enemy's ink in Splatoon 3 with porn. And there's video of this. Like what a way to challenge yourself to get rid of all the enemy's ink by not showing porn and breaking TOS. Apparently also Nintendo filed a claim against this as they should. I'm not gonna link the video anywhere, but I mean if you find it, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Nintendo. I didn't know that they filed a claim, but they made like a statement on their Japanese account saying that if you, let me just read it real quick. Use that violates public order and morals, acts that intentionally mislead the rules of the game, acts that significantly damage the value of the game or characters and the world, and the acts that encourage or take advantage of them will be deleted or legally enforced. We may take measures, including measures, that must be a mistranslation, and they end with saying, please be careful. But yeah, essentially, if you do stuff like this, Nintendo's saying, hey, you can't do that to our property, and we'll take it down. Or hopefully not.
Blankets.
Yeah, boring.
Stick in the muds.
God, Nintendo.
See, and normally we would be criticizing Nintendo for going after, people's content and stuff, but I totally understand it in this situation. A kid's game, and yeah.
Hey, it's rated E for everyone, including
That's
consenting
true.
adults.
That's true.
That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Absolutely wild. What a story. I've seen some people do safe for work versions of this recently though, where there was a couple of streamers that chroma keyed like some annoying orange videos and some other stuff that they just don't want to see because it's cringe or annoying, and they do safe for work versions of this. But obviously, the porn versions of this are not welcome on Twitch or at Nintendo. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Let's move on. Let's move on to news of the week. Top of our items here is the Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer thoughts. Ro, you're the one that reacted to it. Let's start with you. What did you think of the Mario Bros. Trailer? Let's not even talk about the voice yet, okay?
Okay. Let's not talk about the cast yet. I think it looks awesome. Like the animation, the world of Mushroom Kingdom and Bowser's ship, like stomping down on the Penguin's Kingdom. That all was really, really cool. I loved watching that. And separating Bowser from Jack Black, because we're not going to talk about that yet, I think they're doing that character really well, like making him actually ferocious and not, he looks like a badass, I think, in the first couple minutes that we saw. So yeah, I'm excited for more. I love seeing Toad. I'm excited to see the other characters show up later too. But top level thoughts, I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see this movie when it comes out next year, April 4th, I think it was. But yeah.
Dan, about yourself? You watched the trailer?
Of course, yes. I think I echo many of the things that Ro said, and separating the voices and everything. The visual style looks really great. The animation looks fantastic. All the effects look really cool, like Bowser's fire looks fantastic. Yeah, overall, very very much anticipating this, whereas before we got this trailer, I was a little trepidatious about it. But yeah, I think I might be in on this now.
I was in from the get-go when they announced the cast. I had to see this travesty. I think it's no surprise how gorgeous it looks. Like Illumination, like I mean, we can dunk on the Minions, but like at least their movies visually look really good. And for whatever reason, like this has like actual art style, like at every turn. Like the Mushroom Kingdom looks gorgeous. Even though, like like Ro was saying, like the effects when when Bowser is breathing fire on like the Ice Kingdom, like that looks gorgeous. And then Mario opens his mouth and it's like, oh, we were lied to. Chris Pratt is just his normal voice, just a little bit higher registered. And that I think is the only thing that worries me about this movie is that I have to listen to Chris Pratt for an hour and a half of him doing just the Chris Pratt voice, and like it's not gonna be Mario. And like my takeaway is like, first of all, I think I'm allowed to complain about this. I think people who are like, oh, it's a kids movie, it's like whatever. We're all consuming it anyway. We all have takes on the internet. We're allowed to criticize things. That's like part of the engagement with how we are online and how we exist online. My second thing is like we really should hire more voice actors. Remember in Sonic Adventure 2 when they had the voice actor for Tails in the movie? That was great.
Yeah.
Why not have more voice actors in these Hollywood productions? I don't know. I mean, the answer is they get butts in seats, but still.
Right. Yeah. I've been thinking about it, and I've looked at other takes online, and when I watched the trailer and I did the reaction, I was of the mindset, hey, what you just said with getting butts in seats and wanting to make money, that's why they have the big name cast. But I also said that I don't think Charles Martinet or those kinds of voices would work in this movie because of the type of story that they're trying to tell. But the more I think about it, it's like Charles Martinet has done many other voices besides this Mario. He's a voice actor. I think it's stupid for me to think that, and I did think this, but I think it's stupid for me to think that he can't do a voice that would work in this movie. Because he could. He's a voice actor. He's a professional voice actor. He could do it if he's asked to do it. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Christian, that voice actors that have been in this character, has been working on this character for years now, should be afforded the opportunity to bring that character to the big screen and adapt them in a way that would work for this type of movie. Because yes, it would be annoying, I think, to listen to Mario just do wahoo wahoo the entire time in Charles Martinet's voice. But I think that voice actor could change the character's voice enough where it sounds appropriate to the character and also not annoying to listen to for potentially 2 hours.
And like, if people are going to complain that we're going to go watch a movie with an annoying voice, like the Minions exist, and those movies like did begging numbers recently. I also want to, before I get to Dan, because he was about to say something as well, I want to point that Tara Strong, also another voice actress, like very important to our childhoods if we grew up with cartoons, was like publicly, I wouldn't say denouncing, but like publicly tweeting about like her distaste with Hollywood and being like, we should hire more voice actors like this. Charles Martinet was the voice of Mario for 20 years. He is a professional voice actor. He has a wider range. He should be given more opportunities to bring his character to life. So, and I agree. But Dan, what do you think?
Well, just real quick off of what you just said, like even like the Uncharted movie, for instance, like a lot of people were wanting Nolan North to play Nathan Drake, and he quite literally almost is Nathan Drake, his voice, and he looks very similar to Nathan Drake, but of course he's not a traditional Hollywood actor, so he doesn't garner as much interest. My question, like about what you guys were saying before, is like, do you guys think that having the big name actors, that title card that says Chris Pratt and everybody else that's in this, do you think that would garner more interest than like them having like really good 30-second spots with like Mario's like actual voice? Like I feel like people would hear that and they'd be like, holy shit, that's like my childhood. I hear, Mario's actual voice. Like, I want to go see this. Like, it's an interesting question, I feel like.
Like what is this? What is the selling point? Like, are we going to see this movie for the cast, or are we going to see this movie for the movie itself? Yeah, and I don't know. Like that's a really good question, because like, how does general audiences feel? Obviously, like The Rock draws people in because those movies keep making money.
True.
And And that's why they have his poster or his name huge on posters and like Kevin Hart's. Like people are going to go see them. So you make a good point, honestly. I don't know.
I feel like if you make a movie about video games, you already got that video game audience coming anyway.
True.
And if you want to attract the rest of everybody else, you gotta make it more, I guess, approachable, whatever that means for everybody else, by bringing that cast. But I don't know. I feel like they always got us. Like they're making a Mario movie, I'm going to be there. And I feel like a lot of gamers feel that same way too. And I feel like they think, oh, we got to get everybody else now. Let's hire Chris Pratt. Let's hire whoever else, to fill in those seats. Do I agree with that? That is another story. But yeah, I think that they didn't hire Charles Martinet so they can hire Chris Pratt, and potentially what they think in their mind is that brings more people to their theaters. I don't know.
Say that, like, even though I've been talking about voice actors wanting to fill these roles, and that's still my take. That is my big takeaway. That is what I would want out of these Hollywood movies, based on video game adaptations of Hollywood movies. The opposite. You understand what I'm trying to say? Anyway, despite all this, at least Jack Black and Keegan-Michael Key, from what we've seen, are doing like some kind of voice impersonation of these characters. Like, obviously Keegan-Michael Key doesn't sound like traditional Toad. That would be more annoying if we had a movie like that. But like, it sounds close enough. There's like a bit of an annoying tinge to it. Like he is doing like, you almost have to listen to the actual voice of Keegan-Michael Key to be like, oh yeah, that's him. And Jack Black is doing like a really grovelly voice that like, yeah, Bowser would sound like this. Chris Pratt just sounds like a normal dude.
Which is weird.
Like, it just sounds like him.
Which is weird because why did Chris Pratt say this is going to be unlike anything you've heard before? It's like, that's not Chris. Like,
we've heard your voice before.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think the Lego movie is probably further away from Chris Pratt than this voice.
Yeah. I only just heard like the after you, I think you posted something about it on Twitter about the slight in Italian tinge of like racism attached to the voice. And I like when I watched it the first time, I didn't hear anything like that. But when he's saying Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, I could sort of hear like a little bit of like a Brooklyn accent, like so very slightly. So maybe more in the movie he leans into that a bit more, or we hear it a bit easier.
Well,
but yeah, it just sounds like his voice right now to me.
It's also seemingly like an isekai.
Right, yeah.
Which is how the other movie went as well. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he was like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And then gets teleported. Maybe it starts out with real Chris Pratt.
Oh no!
You know what I mean?
Oh no! I'm excited to see if he does start off in New York. I'm excited to see like what the other people around him look like. If they are like also Mario proportioned, or if it's going to be like New Donk City and
like New Donk.
Yeah. That'll be amazing.
Wait, doesn't that happen with Detective Pikachu? Like the dude gets transformed into Pikachu, or am I remembering that movie wrong?
No.
Okay.
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it if anybody out there hasn't watched it yet.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Maybe I just spoiled it. Frick.
It's okay. It's okay.
When does the movie come out? April 7th.
April 7th. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say 4th. Yeah, April 7th.
Will you be there that weekend, Ro?
Probably. Yeah, I'll see this.
Dan?
Opening weekend.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see about opening weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a gummy and go day one. So
Heck yeah.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Let's move on to our next news of the week item. I'm gonna lean heavily onto Dan with this one. Phil Spencer has teased the rumored Xbox streaming stick console, codenamed Keystone, in a recent video. Phil Spencer loves to tease stuff via his shelf. I'm sorry, I think it was a picture. Was it a picture or a video originally?
Picture. Yeah.
It's a picture.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, on the top shelf, you zoom in, looks like a mini, almost Series S. And that looks like it might be the rumored console. Dan, could it be? Is it?
Yeah, actually, and since that story hit, they actually confirmed that it is an old prototype that Microsoft was working on, and apparently they made the decision to pivot away from the current iteration of Keystone and are taking our learnings to refocus our efforts on a new approach. So apparently that is the one of the designs was for that, but it sounds like they've moved on to redesign it again, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that's gonna look like, because like that thing already looks pretty tiny. Like comparing it to the controller that's sitting right next to it, the controller is nearly the same size as it. So it's like I can't imagine how much smaller that thing could be unless they're trying to do like a stick type thing, like, you know, Fire Stick or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's very interesting. Phil loves his little teases.
Do you think this will be something that like plugs into like the TV, like
Yeah.
almost like jacks in?
Yeah, I think it'll just be basically HDMI into your TV, and you can cloud stream games to it essentially. So, I actually posted something on Twitter that I think it could have some validity. That I feel like if this does end up coming out, I feel like $99 price point would knock this thing out of the park, because you'll get a ton of casual people that may be like, oh, I don't want to spend $500 on a console, but I may pick up this $100 console that I can just stream games to it. So that might bring in some more people into Game Pass and such. So,
Dude, if I would do it, honestly, at $100, that is an absolute easy yes for me to just like not want to play Game Pass games on my PC. Just because to have to sit on the chair again, that I'm always sitting in a chair for work and stuff. I like the game standing up. But two, just like running out of space and stuff. I can just cloud stream, just, you know, whatever game on Game Pass from comfort of my own couch or standing up, whatever, just on my TV for $100. That's an absolute easy yes.
and you know what? Actually, I'm remembering as well, Stadia had some really cool functionality where
We'll
they're
grab another them.
well, yeah.
Rest in
But
peace.
in terms of the technology was really good in terms of streaming, and they had some cool technology where if you had their specific stick or whatever, you would have less latency, because they were doing things behind the scenes that I guess improved it with that box, and as well as the controller. I think if I remember correctly, the controller connected straight to the cloud rather than to the box, then to the cloud. So it it saved some steps for latency. So if they do stuff like that, that could definitely help their latency issue as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think this is awesome. So I hope they are working on this, and that this is a tease that it's on the way soon. Because I do it when I have to, but I genuinely hate PC gaming. Like I just want to play on my console, or especially because I'm using a gaming laptop, so it's even more uncomfortable. But yeah, I would love to just have access to the Game Pass library on my TV. Just put a stick in the back, and that is awesome. Like that's amazing accessibility to that catalog of games for everybody. So yeah, I hope this is on the horizon very soon, and
When do we
that is
see
at
it?
a good price point, like you said, Daniel. 100
Right.
sounds great.
Yeah. When do we see it? Take a guess.
Ooh. Game Awards
This year?
this year.
With
Is
them,
it too soon, Dan?
I think so, just because with them confirming that this was an prototype and that they kind of went back to the drawing board, it kind of sounds like they've started over. So I would say that the earliest we would see it is late next year, and
wow.
I don't think it would even release then. So like maybe spring 2024, but I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Announced next summer. Released early fall.
It's possible.
Oh yeah. I'm not retracting my statement. It's coming out this year.
Okay.
We don't have much time left.
Or it's being revealed this year. At the
Oh,
Game
okay,
Awards.
okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
definitely
Gotcha,
not. But I won't back down.
Okay.
I won't.
Yeah.
Hey, there's precedent for it, right?
That would be huge. Did that last week as well. Anyway, our final news item is a big one. Overwatch 2 and all of its issues that it is seemingly having. First of all, Overwatch 2 launched last week and immediately was DDoS, leaving players having a pretty miserable launch day of nearly infinite infinitely long queues of just like that thing. It was not, servers were not up. Then they had fixed them, and then over the course of the weekend, they were just having just server issues left and right. Not constant DDoS attacks, but it seems like it was like pretty frequent where they were like, it would be at a very low number in the queue, then it would rise up to like 20 or 40,000. Sometimes you would get in, then you would get kicked out mid-game. So they were having a lot of server issues. I'm going to stop there and say, did anyone even try Overwatch 2 here at all?
I haven't played a game of Overwatch 2 yet. I haven't like hopped into quick play or anything like that, but I did hop on PlayStation and on my Switch. And it didn't take me long to get in. That was because it was, I think, 2 days after the game launched. So it seemed like things had settled down a bit. And I was doing like the account merger because now they have the option to combine your accounts. Like I've played on the Switch, I've played on PC, I've played on PlayStation, and all of those places have different accounts and different skins. So I merged my PlayStation account with my other ones, so I can get all my skins from that account because I had the most time played there. And that took a while, but after a day, it was all good. And I still haven't played, but I just took a look around, looked at the skins and stuff. But yeah, it seems to have settled down. Like the queue time seems to have settled down at least.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, we were saying this in the private chat. Like, I look at videos in Overwatch 2 and I see no difference. Like, honestly, it still looks like Overwatch 1 to me. I'm sorry.
It does look the same, and I think a lot of the players would say that. But what I would agree. But apparently, it feels a lot different. Like the change to the amount of players apparently is a huge difference to the people that are playing. Like it makes a huge difference to the types of games that they're playing and the reduced amount of tanks that are in a match. Like having just one apparently changes the game, the match feel like completely. So apparently that side of things, like the leveling, not the leveling, the matchmaking and the I don't know, the competitiveness of the ranked matches are better. That's what I've heard from players that have played it. But just looking at Overwatch, yeah, it looks exactly the same. Yeah, and I think besides what I just said, I think most everything is the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, this is not me trying to hate either. Like, I'm someone who's excited for Modern Warfare 2. If you put Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1 side by side, I'd probably be like, oh, this game's like pretty much almost identical. But again, they play different, and that's what's important. So if what you're saying is true, then that rocks. However, speaking of skins, a bug in Overwatch 2 caused players to auto-purchase skins without their permission. It's since been fixed. However, Blizzard will not offer refunds.
What?
Which I think is egregious. You have a bug causing people to like spend their own money on skins, and Blizzard is like, nah, well, they're meant to be bought anyway, so you don't get any refunds. That is such a shame.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah,
that is pretty scummy. That they caused the issue. It's not like we bought it on purpose. Yeah, that's messed up.
There we go. After getting in touch with Blizzard and explaining what happened, the developer refused to refund the 300 legacy credits, insisting that all those unlocks are meant to be final, adding, if you believe there was a problem with the game which caused this to happen, please be sure to provide feedback via our forums. And that was it.
How are we supposed to find out it was a problem without experiencing the problem in the first place? Like, we have to accidentally buy them to know that it's an issue, unfortunately.
Hopefully the developers step in and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and give, X amount of coins to anyone who made purchases. Like, do something. Like, I feel like customer support in general anymore is terrible. So, like, this is awful.
Well, maybe if they partner up with PlayStation Stars and, you spent more money, you'd get premium service.
God.
True.
I've also heard that the skins are not cheap to begin with. Like the amount of currency that they're asking for in the first place is already pretty steep. So the fact that they're not getting refunded for a purchase that they didn't make really sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I almost forgot to add too, because of the launch day woes, Blizzard is going to offer a free skin to everyone. So
God, what is that going to look like? Just a free skin in general, just that you get to choose your own.
There's a picture of it already.
Oh, they're making one. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't find it right now.
Okay.
Overwatch 2 skin. I'm trying to link it to you so you can see it.
Okay.
Oh my God, that is Photoshop. I'm gonna move away.
Oh,
Okay, new Cursed Captain Reaper legendary skin. Looks like it might be that one.
Okay.
Looks like a pirate. I think that's the one they're giving away for free.
Nice. I have to.
So they won't give you refunds, but here's a free skin for one character.
Yeah. At least. Yeah. I was gonna. I think my idea is better. Like, just let me pick one skin for myself.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh well.
Is it
Like,
true?
Thanks for giving me a skin to remember the horrible thing that happened.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Who was saying? Someone in chat was saying about like the rumor was that Blizzard moved from Overwatch 1 to 2 so that they could introduce a battle pass system
was
into
Gage.
their
Yeah.
Gage. Yeah. Damn it. Wish he was here to speak on that. Instead, we're going to move on to our final little tidbit here about Overwatch 2. Blizzard is removing its controversial SMS Protect system from Overwatch 2, but only for players who have played Overwatch 1. New players will still have to play with their phone number. As a reminder, prepaid numbers will not work. You have to have a post-paid phone number. And of course, there's also a rumor that Modern Warfare 2 will reportedly be adding this system as well, which is a shame. There's a lot of people who don't have phones at all or who use prepaid cell phones. So
yeah, kids who play Overwatch, like Overwatch isn't a T-rated game. None of them have phones, or know, a lot of them don't. So that that's
right.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's a very weird anti-cheat system. I get what they're going for, but like you're excluding a lot of players. And there was like people talking like, oh, I put like so many hours in that, like Overwatch 1 meant so much to me. Now I can't even play one of my favorite games because I have a cricket phone or whatever, which doesn't really bode well for me in terms of like doing right by your audience.
I mean, thank God that they're allowing Overwatch 1 players to do it without that, because otherwise you bought a $60 boxed copy of a game that you can't even play anymore because they turned the servers off.
This is a free-to-play game, Daniel. All right?
Right. Yeah, but like if you bought Overwatch 1, you don't have a phone number, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I have a friend in the Navy who's like overseas and his phone doesn't work over there.
Oh.
And he bought Modern Warfare 2, so I told him, like, hey, you might have some trouble. Maybe activate your phone for a day or, put your mom's phone number on for Modern Warfare 2. That is it for News of the Week. Let us go into our fantasy draft check-in. I got a few items here for you guys. I pulled open the page. Last week, a game launched, and it was on mine. That was Bone Lab. VR game I was really excited about. Did not get enough reviews.
Oh.
Scrolling over, it says needs more reviews. This game has released and it has an open critic page, but there are not enough reviews yet.
No.
I don't know if I'll get enough reviews on this game. It's kind of a shame.
You might though, because there was another game that was in that situation. Oh, it was the Forza DLC, wasn't it? Yeah. So you just give it a week or two. We'll see.
I'll review the damn game myself. All right. Anyway, we got some stuff on the horizon here. This week, myself, Scorn releases October 14th. That's on Game Pass as well. Inshallah, that gets good reviews. Also, the game looks cool.
I wonder when those reviews are hitting.
I know. Usually they hit around maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. If anyone's even playing it.
Wait, never mind. That's not right. Sorry.
I had seen some tweets from, not from the publisher, but from someone in PR for Scorn, like tweeting about like, hey, if you want codes for Scorn, get in here. And so I gotta imagine that reviews are coming before the game actually drops. I'm gonna assume either tomorrow or morning of the 14th. Probably tomorrow. Anyway. Also next week, we got a Plague Tale Requiem. Gage, probably going to get some numbers here.
Yeah. People are excited.
And after that, there are more games, but I'll wait till the next few weeks.
Yeah, a lot of October games.
A lot of October games.
Wait, is that I did it again. Is that a Thursday release for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope? That's such a weird
10/20? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, that's a
Good
weird
old
day.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
No.
No. Odd. Anyway. That's it for your draft checking. Let's move on to our PXN Best of series. Of course, we announced that this month is October, the best horror We're announcing that this month is October. Anyway, this is PXN's best horror game. We went through, we were picking our best horror games. Each of us gets 4 picks, and then again, as always, we'll have individual polls running later in the next upcoming weeks. However, Gage is not here. We made him go onto this Google Doc and write in his own. Should we do one at a time and then start with Gage?
Sure.
We'll do one at a time. So Gage's first pick is going to be Resident Evil 2 Remake. I can't speak to Gage's what he thinks about the game, but I agree. RE2 Remake is one of the best games ever made, not his best horror game. So that's a solid pick from Gage. Banger pick.
Agreed.
What you got, Dan?
What do I have? Christian. My first one is Alan Wake. A beloved Xbox 360. I love that reaction from Xbox 360 psychological thriller, but I guess it counts as a horror game. I just really like that game's vibe, and the flashlight was a really cool mechanic. How you used it to interact with both the world and the enemies, I thought was a really cool idea. And the story was just wacky as hell. I don't know what the hell was happening half the time, and he was in his own writer's head, but Alan Wake's own head. But yeah, it was a wild ride, and really enjoyed it. Fun game.
2 things I really enjoyed. Remedy just rocks. Like, they understand like narrative. 2 things I really enjoyed was that like the narration that Alan Wake does, like,
yes,
was banging. Like, that felt like I was hearing audio from an actual novel, so I really enjoyed that. But also like the Twilight Zone-esque like episodes that you would like see when you run into like those TVs that they would have like spread throughout like the levels, which I thought was like, whenever Remedy like inserts videos into their games, you gotta watch those because they're always insane. The ones in Control were good. The ones in Alan Wake were just as cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're skipping this. That's right.
I'm gonna skip this one, guys. People who are watching, you probably know this. I'm not a huge horror guy, so I decided to say maybe I shouldn't jump in on this one. Just like, I just for authenticity sake, because I really don't know that much about horror. I just don't want to pick some games out of my butt. Yeah.
The next one we're gonna do is best anime, and I will be out of that one.
Dan, what do you want first? What do you want first from me?
What do I want first?
You want a predictable pick? You want something kind of indie? You want something that's like certified, this might win?
Well, I mean, I know one of them, so you could give me the one that I know.
Yo, are you gonna let me pick it?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. The odds are in my favor. My first pick is going to be Dead Space.
There it is.
Beautiful.
What can I say that I haven't said about this game already? The only game to give me week-long night terrors. So vivid that I had to put the game down for months before I got back to it. One of the best horror games I've ever played, period. Like, that game is influential. I cannot wait to play the remake again in just a couple months. Dead Space. Love it. Love it.
Hell yeah. And Callisto very soon as well. Inspired by
this year, December. Some of the same developers from the original Dead Space game.
Yes.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's see. Gage's second pick, another Resident Evil game. Shame. Couldn't think of something else, Gage. You got to do another Resident Evil game. That's RE7. Personally, I think RE8 is better. I can insert my own comments here because Gage isn't here. But RE7, the change in genre to first person, something to it. Yeah, I think that kind of change is inspiring some cool stuff in the Resident Evil universe. So I'd say overall it's a pretty solid pick.
Is this spoiling anything? Do you have any Resident Evil games on your list, Christian?
I didn't because I figured somebody else would.
Okay. Well, then that's going to change probably one of my answers. So
And if I was going to have any Resident Evil game in my list, it'd be RE2 Remake.
it's fair. It's fair.
Dan, what's your number 2?
My number 2. Speaking of Resident Evil 8, what you just mentioned, Christian. Actually, I completely forgot about it until you just said that, and I'm like, hell yeah, Resident Evil 8 is fantastic. I love that game, and I completely agree with you. I think it's way better than 7, in my opinion. Village is really good. I feel like it took like the best parts of the third-person games and first-person games and like melded them together, and I really liked that. And Lady D, I'll call her because I can't even pretend.
Dimitrescu?
Yeah. She was very menacing, and the sisters and all of the enemies in that game were really cool and very different. Like all of them had their own personality and felt different, and I loved that. And yeah, I feel like she was so much more menacing too than what's his name from Resident Evil 2 remake?
Mr. X?
Yes, Mr. X. I felt like she was even more intimidating. Yes, intimidating than him, because like you knew that he was like stuck to a certain area, and then like she would like go further, and you're like, I feel like she followed me in places where I was like, wait, you're following me in here? I don't.
Yeah. There was a part where like she was camping outside the elevator where I had to go take a trip around the entire castle, and it's like, wow, just because you were just like did not want me to go this way. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Can I just say on RE8 real quick, or just Resident Evil in general, they've got great sound design. One thing that stands out to me from RE2 Remake is the sound of Mr. X's boots hitting the ground in rooms next to you, being like, oh my god, he's near me and he's coming. I gotta find a way out of here. RE8 did something very similar with hearing Lady D's like heels, or like anyone like walking around that castle. Like that sound design was really freaking good. It also just was a gorgeous game. Great art design.
Yes.
Rose, second pick. I'm kidding. My second pick, I'm going to save my strongest one, I think, for last. So I'm going to do something else. I'll work backwards here. Inscription. Normally, you don't think that as a horror game, but it's the meta narrative is telling is very much it's very much horror. I mean, even like I cannot talk about this game without spoiling it. It's very hard. Play Inscription if you haven't already. It is one of the craziest kind of meta narratives I've ever seen out of any game. And I think if you're kind of down on the whole like I don't like card games kind of approach, first of all, the card game is actually like really good. So much so that I kind of wish this was a real game. It is that addicting. Stick with Inscription because of the twists and turns the story goes through the card game. It is really good. That's all I can say without spoiling it. It's also really scary. The atmosphere, so good.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, Gage, your third pick. Oh, thank you, Christian. I'm gonna kiss you on the lips. My third pick is Gage's third pick is Outlast, and that was also on my list as well. I think Outlast is fantastic.
Yeah.
Going through into an insane asylum as a journalist with your camcorder,
So cool.
and turning on, it's phenomenal. What a way to start out the PS4, Xbox One generation.
And like
with a cool game like that.
Oh, it's so crazy that you have to like replace the batteries and stuff. But, like it's so tense. Like you're like, oh my god, I don't want to run out of battery because there might be someone around the next corner and I won't be able to see them.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Your third?
My third is none other than Shinji Mikami's The Evil Within. Fantastic game. really, really love the series, and I was so freaking mad at them when they went and did Ghostwire Tokyo instead of Evil Within 3, but that's for another day. Loved how reminiscent this game was of Resident Evil 4, and it was unapologetically so. But obviously, Shinji Mikami's history with Resident Evil, but I just love the atmosphere. It really dives into like some mental asylum that it kind of goes further into like the mental like side of things. Like by the end of that game, you're kind of like, wow, this is like wild, and I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't played it, but like. By the end, you're just like, what the hell did I just experience? Like, that was such a mind meld, and it had some very cool themes in it. And yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of that game. And its sequel was pretty good as well. So, yeah, love it.
I remember I tried playing the Evil Within, and I played like about an hour, and I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't like the controls.
Wow.
I just felt like it was like too janky for me. And I was like, this is not close enough to Resident Evil as I was hoping it would be. So I never stuck with it, but yeah, I heard good things. Just one that I don't think I'll ever get back to, unfortunately. Very sad for me.
One thing I found annoying with the sequel, they did this weird aspect ratio where they were trying to be, I guess, cinematic with it, where they had black lines on the top and bottom of the screen, like very purposely. But like, it very much took me out of the experience. I'm like, I just want to see the whole screen, like, please. And they actually ended up updating the game like a year later and added the option to, do that to show the whole screen. So I thought that was interesting, but yeah.
I guess if you're going to do that and you get that much backlash, like you should have, I don't know, maybe you should have had that as like an option, like how Ghost of Tsushima has the Kurosawa mode where it's just the black and white. Maybe you could have done that. Yeah, anyway. My third pick, another kind of indie game. This is Soma, horror game underwater that is very much also psychological horror. Soma is just like, if you want to like really meditate and interrogate the idea of like, what does it mean to be alive and to exist, and like, what does it mean to be human? Like, Soma is the game for you. Like, that game is as much like, let's think about life and continuity and what that means in like a sci-fi underwater horror hellscape that is just like really freaking cool. And that story ended up being like way more like invigorating for me than I thought, like than what it led to be, because it's just kind of like a smaller kind of indie game, and it really stuck with me. So Soma is like legit one of my favorite horror games ever. Probably my top 10. Bro should play it.
Oh god. Do you guys have any more picks?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll save my thoughts at the end.
Yeah, we're still talking. Gage's final pick. I don't think you did any honorable mentions. Gage's final pick is Until Dawn, which is a great one. I think Until Dawn is a fantastic choice. It's also like, what a fun game.
Yeah.
Something I did not expect. Yeah. Cool. Very cool game.
I still gotta freaking finish. That reminds me, I still gotta finish their follow-up or their spiritual successor. What's it called?
Yeah, it came out this year too.
Yeah, I blanked completely on the name.
With Brenda's song.
Yes.
It's coming to me. The Quarry.
There you go. Yes. Thank you, Ro. Yeah, I was enjoying that game, and I kind of got distracted by other games. But well.
Dan, you got any honorable mentions?
I do. So obviously, I mentioned one already, which is The Evil Within 2. Very much enjoyed that game as well as the original. But also one that almost made my list until you reminded me of Resident Evil 8. And then I added that on the fly there. Is one that you guys may be like, really? Which is Dead Rising 3. It was an Xbox One launch title, and a lot of people, here's the thing about Dead Rising 3. A lot of Dead Rising fans do not like Dead Rising 3, but that's why I love it, because I hated the other Dead Rising games. Like the humor and stuff in the other games I thought was cool and like funny and stuff, but I always felt like the games were like janky and like missing something. Like it never quite hit for me. And Dead Rising 3 was like very like gritty and dark, a lot darker than the other games, not much humor in it. And I love the main protagonist. I believe his name was Nick. He was a mechanic, and they tied into the other games pretty well too, which I thought was really cool. So cool honorable mention there. Dead Rising 3. Oh, the number of zombies on the screen was insane too. Oh, that was cool.
That's the only one? You only got one honorable mention?
That and Evil Within 2 are just the ones that come to mind there. But obviously, you guys picked some bangers, so a lot of.
Then give me your final pick.
Yes, my final pick is more evil, and it's another Resident Evil game because I cannot make a best horror list without the best horror game ever. Resident Evil
RE4, huh?
4. Yes.
I knew it.
Amazing game. I absolutely loved that game. And it's funny because I didn't play that game originally when it came out. I think I was just too young. Like I wasn't really into the horror genre back then. I played it on Xbox 360 when it came out, re-released, like it was remastered a little bit or whatever. And I just love that game. The village and like the chainsaw dude, and like there's so many like moments in that game that you're just like, this is incredible. The only thing that I just despise from that game is just Ashley's constant, Leon, help me. Help me, Leon! Like it's constant at one point.
It's not that bad. Just be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Just make her hide in the dumpster or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Leon.
Fantastic.
She did yell a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you excited for RE4 remake?
Yes, very much so. I am so excited because Resident Evil 4 does not hold up as well as it, I feel like it does not hold up well at all. So I'm very, very excited for the remake. We've got Gage in the chat that says, honorable mention to my giant third leg. I instantly
that is scary. Yeah.
I want him to go back to fucking work, dude. I need him to go back to work ASAP.
Yeah.
I'm excited for RE4 remake too. I need to see how they modernize not the game's gameplay, because we know they can do that. Actually, I think Resident Evil 4 actually holds up pretty well for the most part. I don't know how you do that game. That narrative is long and it goes places and it's very much almost action at some point. Like I'm very curious to see how they handle that.
Yeah.
For the entirety of the game, or if they split it up. I don't know what's going to go on, but yeah, very curious.
Indeed.
The tone looks really good too. Oh my god, I'm gonna stop gushing about RE4 remake. It looks cool. I got a few honorable mentions on mine. I had RE2 remake. Gage took that one. Outlast. Gage took that one. Phasmophobia. Despite recent comments from the developers, be better. Come on, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? At its core, I think Phasmophobia is a very, very, very fun game. It's probably one of the scarier games I've ever played. Like even just on my PC in the dark, playing with my friends on Discord, like I get terrified playing that game where I have to turn on the lights. I am too afraid to play that game in VR. But Lord, do I want to try. One day.
One day.
I also want to shout out a very super scary game from the Xbox era, original Xbox era, and that is The Suffering. I think about that game every now and then. Like, it's a story about this dude who kills his wife and his family and is sent to prison. And in his head, he's hearing the devil and God like fighting. I kind of forget what's going on, but like it is a very scary game. Probably not very good, but I remember being terrified. I have a few things that I want to mention here that I like. These games are not going to show up on my list, and you're wondering why. It's because I haven't played them. Number one, Anatomy. That is a kind of a smaller game on itch.io. $3. It's lauded as like one of the greatest like modern indie horror games, and that's been on my list to play for a long time. I'm gonna get to it very soon. Amnesia. I've never played Amnesia, but like I've heard that's also like a fantastic game. Silent Hill 2. One day I will play this. And lastly, Dead Space 2, which I know is more action, but still it's a Dead
still
Space
great.
game. Still great. Also want to shout out some upcoming games. Callisto Protocol, can't wait. And then Routine. Routine looks cool.
And then Dead Space.
My final
remake.
pick. Yes, that too. My final pick. And I know what you're thinking. But that's not really a game. Sure, but it's also has since evolved into something that's been way bigger than itself, that has inspired things that have yet to come. I am talking about Kojima's PT,
Oh,
which was supposed to be the teaser for his Silent Hill game. And PT, I think, stands head and shoulders above so many like actual horror games. And this is like a couple hour, I don't know, maybe like 2 hour long experience that you play through. That it could be maybe seen as like a prologue to Silent Hill. It's supposed to be like setting it before the events of the actual game that was supposed to be a game. I think PT is like one of the scariest things I've ever seen. I've never actually beaten it. I had to watch my friend beat it for me. I was too afraid to keep playing. It's fantastic. If I can get my PS4 running again, I would love to actually try and play through it. It's what could have been. What could have been.
it's like the MGS Ground Zeroes to MGS 5, right?
Yeah, in a way. I think Ground Zero is probably a bit
Bigger.
more complex. Yeah, it's probably bigger, but yeah, I think PT is probably just as important, probably more important to the games industry than Ground Zeroes is. So
True.
that's it. Those are our best of picks. Ro, did you have something to say before we moved on?
No, I was just trying to think of what games I would pick if I were to participate, and I did actually remember 2 horror games that I did beat in my high school days, but they were I think I brought them up on the show before, but those RPG Maker games, like IB, I think was recently announced for the Switch. It was games similar to that where I beat The Witch's House and Mad Father, and those are both 10 out of 10 games on Steam. So maybe I would have won. Maybe I would have won.
I haven't heard of these.
Just saying, they're really good. They're really good.
Wow.
The Mad Father and The Witch's House. Search them up. They're really good, guys. People out there who like 2D pixel horror games. Yeah.
Okay. I might do that. But until then, keep an eye on our Twitter. Sometime next week, when our individual polls go up for everyone, we get 1 poll per day. 1 from me, 1 for Dan, and 1 for Gage. And then those will go to the finals poll, which will run through up to the episode where we conclude and decide live on air which winner takes the best horror game crown from PXN.
Heck yeah.
All right. What you got for me, Dan?
I've got for
Maybe
you a game that uses Unreal Engine 3. That's all I can say.
Oh.
And yeah.
Oh,
that one that I said.
Yeah.
It uses Unreal Engine 3. I found that out after I ended, and I was like, that makes sense
Jesus.
now. Anywho, the other game that I've actually been playing, The Last of Us Part 2, ladies and gentlemen.
He's doing it.
Yes, and
what'd you think about those cable physics?
yeah, it's wild. Like, I did not expect to be, plugging in some cables. It was really cool, actually, because, obviously you're pointing out because I sent it in the chat, but, I was holding the power cable that you have to attach to the generator, it's attached to the generator. You have to plug it into the wall to light it up. Well, I was trying to walk around this fence, and I'm like, what the heck? What? I can't reach this. This doesn't make any sense. And I'm sitting there for a minute. I'm like, okay, what if I could throw it? And I hold the left trigger. I'm like, are you serious? You can actually throw it over? And, it's so cool. The freaking... Sorry.
You can also make, knots with it. And also, put... What's the opposite of slack?
Oh, yeah.
Make it tense.
You
can make it tense around, certain objects so you can, jump over it and stuff.
That's so cool. And,
physics.
The animation when you go to wind it up on your arm is insane. I don't know how they do that. It looks so freaking realistic. It's amazing. I love that so much. The little details like that are insane. I love that. Almost like Rockstar-esque. Rockstar does a great job with little details like that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. I'm about 10 hours in now, so I've made some significant progress compared to what I played before. I made it 2 hours in before when I hit the moment and then stopped. So, yes, I'm very much enjoying the game thus far, as I thought I would. The gameplay has been
gameplay is
good.
so good, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I got it. Oh, Ro, please.
I just wanted to ask Dan if he's gone back to Abby yet. Have you switched back to Abby since
I have not. No,
Okay.
I'm still on Ellie.
okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to remind you, next time you do get to play as Abby and you have like a moment, look off a ledge. Like if she's high up on something, look off a ledge. It's pretty cool. It's
Alright.
neat.
Which I feel like I've been Ellie for a long time. Like I'm pretty sure I've been Ellie for like the last 7 hours of my playthrough, maybe more. So
Without spoiling anything, Dan, I gotta say there will be another moment where you feel like quitting the game entirely.
oh Jesus.
When that happens, first of all I understand, and know that I had feelings where I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. Push past that. If you need to, take a break from the game for a day or two, but then go back, because that will happen. Okay.
Okay.
It's on purpose they're doing this. Bro knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I do. I feel like I've had that moment a couple of times playing the game where I just got frustrated with particular characters. But yeah, always take a break if you have to, but always get back to it eventually because I think it's worth it in the end.
I will definitely have more thoughts when I finish.
So excited.
Yeah. So.
I can't wait.
Dude, you'll have thoughts in like 5 hours from now.
That's fair.
That game feels like legit. And I think this is probably because the co-writer for this game previously worked on HBO shows. I think it was Game of Thrones. Like that, Last of Us Part 2 has very much like this is a season of a TV show kind of feel to it. So like there's a lot going on every couple hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you done? That's it? That's all you got for us?
That's all I got.
Okay. Ro.
Yeah, I hinted at this earlier. I'm still playing Cyberpunk 2077. I think this was in the pre-show actually, so maybe not everybody heard it. But yeah, I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077. Enjoying it quite a bit actually. Yeah, I'm having a really fun time actually with it, and I'm liking like just the dialogue options and just. I think I'm falling in love with the night. Not in love. Saying in love with Night City is kind of weird because it's such a terrible place. But I do like I am enjoying the world. Just exploring it and finding out new characters. There'll be times where I'm just like driving down the street and then somebody would call me like, "Hey, I got a job for you." It just everything to me feels pretty organic and it's like building on top of each other pretty seamlessly so far. I heard there's a point later on where it's like doing side missions right now just doesn't make sense, but that happens in like all open world games. I don't think there's been a solution to that yet, unless you want to like cut off the player from everything and then make them focus on the world ending thing. But yeah, I'm having a good time with Cyberpunk, and I'm also playing Bayonetta 2 because I beat Bayonetta 1 earlier this week and moved on to 2 because I want to be ready for 3. So far, Bayonetta 2 is a lot easier than the first one. I don't know if I don't. It's not that
you should be playing the game on hard. Because normal mode is this game's easy mode.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll bump it up because luckily enough, it's one of those games you could just switch to difficulty anytime you want. So maybe I'll do that because yeah, I found it a lot easier than the first one. I'm playing on normal and I played on normal in the first game, but like you said, hard isn't a difficulty option in the first one. But yeah, having a good time with it. It doesn't have as many like iconic moments, I guess, as the first one does, but story-wise, it's really cool. The combat is so fun. I think I'm enjoying the combat more than I did in the first game, but not as challenging as the first one.
Let's stop here because I've also been playing Bayonetta 2, and I am about halfway through, and I gotta say, so far I don't think I like it as much as Bayonetta 1.
Yeah.
Despite how many frustrations I have with Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, like I feel like there's certainly so far what I've seen, not that much enemy variety. Like there are maybe like 3 enemies I'm constantly seeing all the time. Despite like the bosses. The bosses are always like fantastic. The bosses are like the best part of this game. And I gotta say, like, I don't know if it was an issue with production, like they didn't have enough money, or if the Nintendo Switch just wasn't like as powerful.
It was the Wii U that this originally came out on.
True. Yeah. But like, man, in Bayonetta 1, I understood like they didn't have enough money to do cutscenes all the time, so they do like the not stop motion. I guess stop motion, whatever, like videos where it's just like pictures of them and like you can hear the audio. It feels like there's way more of those in Bayonetta 2, where it's almost like too much. It's like, man, I would have loved for them to have a bit more money just to do some cool stuff with a cutscene right now. It's just pictures of them and they're not doing anything. But like when a cutscene hits, it's very much enjoyable. Yeah. Shout out to Bayonetta with short hair and Jean with long hair. Incredible sexy.
I like that switch up too. Definitely.
Maybe Bayonetta 3 has a bigger budget and that's why it's been in development for so long.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we just don't get any stop motion cutscenes in the new one. Yeah. Like sometimes it works. Like I don't hate it, but just getting a cutscene animated is obviously the better option.
Yeah, because like for the first one, it felt like we had for every like 3 cutscenes, we would have 1 stop motion sequence. And for this, it feels like almost the opposite, where it's either like 50-50 or like for every 1 cutscene, we're getting 3 stop motion like videos per chapter or whatever.
What chapter are you on? If you remember.
Oh, you want me to say? I think I'm on 8 now.
Okay.
So I guess just under. I haven't started at 8, so just under halfway.
Nice. Cool.
How far are you in?
Chapter 11 now.
Oh.
Yeah. I heard that it has 16 chapters, so almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Yeah. And that, from what I've heard from my friend, is that it gets like way better as you approach the end. So
yes, it feels that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Ro?
Splatoon 3, still playing that, but nothing really more to add than
porno mode.
Still having a good time. And I did not play that mode yet. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
What about you?
On top of Bayonetta 2, last week I said that I was playing through The Last Guardian, and I was like, hey, I think this might be one of the most beautiful games I ever played. I've since beaten The Last Guardian, and I gotta say, yes, this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my goddamn life. Like, it is so freaking good. Is it as sublime as Shadow of the Colossus? Oh. Actually, I think yes, but in different ways. Like, this is like a really sweet game that, like, honestly, I was crying during the final cutscene. My biggest takeaway from The Last Guardian is that, man, I miss Studio Japan, I miss Team Ico, and I want, what's his name? Ueda? Is it Ueda?
Oh, I don't know. Ico.
What? I'm pretty sure it's Ueda. I want to get his name right. I don't think there's a T in there. Fumito Ueda. Bring him back. Where is he? We need you. We need you to make your beautiful art as video games ASAP.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
I miss Studio Japan too. God.
Yeah, man. For real. R.I.P. Oh, I'm host. That is it for what you got for me. Let's move on over into our topic of the show. This week, of course, our topic of the show is into the Meta Questverse. We got a couple of stories revolving Meta. Actually, a little bit of Xbox in there, too. A little bit of Windows, but mostly all revolving around Meta. Starting, Meta has acquired Camouflage, the developers of Iron Man VR, and Armature, the developers of Resident Evil 4 VR. And Iron Man VR is coming to Quest 2 in November. We knew that Meta was getting more serious into the kind of gaming industry, doubling down on making cool games for the Quest. Resident Evil, of course, I don't know if it's going to come to Steam at all. Maybe not. But so far, I think it's still an exclusive to the Meta platform. But with the acquisitions, like, more could come along the way. We don't know. It seems like they are really doubling down on video game development. So that could be exciting. Maybe. People still very much like Facebook sucks, Meta sucks. And I tend to agree with that kind of line of thinking. However, if we get cool games out of it, I don't know, we might see more people adopting that kind of platform. What are you guys' thoughts on Meta acquiring Camouflage and Armature?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, actually, because your doc here has Iron Man VR and RE4 VR as their games, but, like, Camouflage I remember because I backed their very first game on Kickstarter. It was called Republic, and it was like a stealth action, like, iOS game back in the day.
Is it not Republique or whatever?
Yes. Republic. Yeah, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I backed it back in the day, and I'd never even played the game. I literally didn't even play the game after it came out. I got a code for it on iOS, and then I was like, I don't feel like playing this on my phone right now. I think later it came to Windows as well. But yeah, it's very interesting. They're pretty good little startup there, so it's cool that they are now getting acquired. Props to them, as well as Armature, which was the lead developer for a game that I feel like was very underrated last gen, Recore. I absolutely loved that game. I thought it was very underrated. Yeah, so very interested to see what they work on in VR now. Cool.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see what real quick. It just like RE4 VR was like probably a highlight of my VR experiences on Meta. Like that is like it is insane how much like it feels like a different version of Resident Evil 4. Like it doesn't feel like I'm just playing the same game again. Like I am Leon playing this game. Like it is kind of a sublime experience. Like using both hands to do stuff and interacting with the world like on that level is like feels so much different. And I'm kind of excited to see like what they'll end up doing next. And so if it's on Meta, like I will probably buy it.
Yeah, I again, I don't have a VR headset just yet, but I always don't know what to think when the studio gets acquired, but especially when it's PlayStation is not PlayStation, Facebook/Meta is the one doing it. It always feels kind of a little more weird or dirty, for lack of a better word. But yeah, Armature, like you were saying, worked on Recore, so probably not going to be working on a Recore 2. Not that was probably in the future anyway. I saw a lot of people quote tweaking saying, "Oh no more Recore 2." It's like that wasn't on the way anyway.
No.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Hopefully something good comes of it. It's good to see them trying to do more gaming stuff because that's what I want to see out of VR more than the metaverse stuff. So if they're making more games, then that's good at least.
Absolutely. And speaking of games, it's not all game focused, but I'll just read this next story. Xbox Cloud Gaming is also coming to MetaQuest store in the future. You'll be able to play Game Pass games on a virtual 2D screen, which I think is like huge. Like when we were saying like Game Pass is coming everywhere, I did not expect for it to be on like other platforms VR headsets. Like that is wild to me. But it comes with an actual whole partnership with Microsoft to bring not just Game Pass, but Teams, Windows, Office, and of course, cloud gaming, all to the Quest VR headsets. This is going to tie into kind of another question. I won't say much here regarding all the other Microsoft suite of products, but just to touch on Game Pass, like that's kind of insane, dude. I don't know. Like we talk about the streaming stick being like an option to play Xbox games with like minimal kind of things purchased. Like there are a lot of people I would say who don't have a lot of gaming consoles or even the new gaming consoles that might maybe have a VR headset, like because it's a standalone thing. People buy that for like whatever Black Fridays, they get their little Quest 2s. And now all of a sudden they have access to Xbox games from their VR headset. It's going to be really interesting to see how that kind of changes the kinds of players everywhere, or see who is able to like pick up Game Pass games on their VR headset, or how it'll even work.
Yeah,
if there's any input lag.
Yeah, and like, are you? My question is, are you going to be using the actual Quest controllers, or are you going to be using an Xbox controller tied into it? Like, because that'll be interesting as well.
I don't know how you. I mean, like, I guess when I'm VR gaming through my PC, I'm using my Xbox controller, but that's going to the PC. That's not going through the headset. If I'm using the Quest Pro, I don't know how you would connect. Like, is there Bluetooth, a Bluetooth connection?
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, and I guess I guess that would be another question for Microsoft if they're willing to do that back end work, because remember they do have touch controls enabled for a lot of games. On mobile, for instance, you can pick up a phone and literally have on-screen touch controls that it translates it for you into the game. So maybe they'll have something like that where it takes the Meta Quest controller and takes that input and translates it to an Xbox controller input. So yeah. Interesting.
Would you try an Xbox Game Pass game out on Meta?
I'd probably try it out, but obviously that would not be my preferred way to play. I'm still personally like, I think cloud stuff is really cool, and I think it's cool to be able to play anywhere and all of that. But personally, I'd much rather have my console here playing low latency, perfect experience. So yeah, we're not quite there yet for me to jump on board 100% with cloud only, you know.
Give me a second here. I have to pull up one more thing before we get to the next story item.
Sure.
I think I would play Xbox in VR if I had a VR headset. But yeah, like you, it probably wouldn't be my first option. But yeah, this is like, can you imagine if PlayStation were to do this, or if Xbox or Nintendo were to do this too? Just be able to play games anywhere. What a future that would be.
That'd be nice. Too bad Jim Ryan's like, hell no. We want less games everywhere.
Exactly. We're taking our games off of our own platforms, let alone put them on other places.
I won't be able to find it, but I'll do my best to recall from memory. We'll just move on to the final item here. MetaQuest Pro has finally been unveiled. It is up for pre-order for $1,499.99. That is U.S. currency. It is backwards compatible with the Quest app catalog. And my main question is, who is this for? Of course, a lot of people have been discussing online that it's for employers, right, to have people like use these kinds of VR headsets. And I think Meta like has really been hammering down on having Meta not just be a gaming console, but for it to be something that is used in the workforce. Like that is like a thing that they want the metaverse to be used for. They just added legs, by the way. You can have an avatar with legs. You can walk around your conference rooms with them. First of all, I think it's sad that like the future we're imagining, that Meta is imagining, is just like conference rooms and just meetings. It's kind of boring when the sky's the limit. But it's in line with their partnership with Microsoft to have their suite of products available on Meta. However, with this price point, it begs the question, like, who is actually going to buy this? Let's consider, we now know that the MetaQuest Pro screen is not an OLED, it's an LCD screen. And I wish I had we had some specs, and compared to other headsets, it is not as strong. I know the refresh rate it will not be as high as the PSVR 2. I don't think the PSVR 2 will cost $1,500, however. Right. So,
and
is anyone going to want to buy into this?
I think you hit that spot on, Christian. Like, if somebody is in the enthusiast market and wants like a top end headset, why would you not just buy a PSVR 2? Because there's no way that's going to be, your PS5 costs $500. That the PSVR 2, I don't see going over $600. So that's $1,100 there. Like, why would you buy a less powerful headset for $1,500? That's what? What?
The Index is cheaper and it's more powerful.
Yeah.
And and you're not locked to the Quest store. You're able to connect it to your PC. The only pro here is that the Quest Pro, no pun intended, is that it's a standalone headset, right? So you have the freedom there. But like, I don't know, one cable with the PSVR 2 I would say is fine enough. Get a long cable.
Does it even
save some money?
Does it even feel like a big enough leap from Quest normal? Like, I feel like it's not. Yeah, like, that's my other problem. Like, this is $1,000 more than the normal MetaQuest. Like, what the hell? I don't understand. And maybe that's partially why they increased the price of MetaQuest, to be like, oh, we want to make this a little closer to, because this will be too egregious to be, $100 back further. But
God. I also read that and it's probably because it's a standalone console, it doesn't need to be wired all the time, but I read that the battery life is actually worse for the Pro than the the original.
God.
But you could always keep it wired in where it wouldn't be an issue. But the fact that it's worse when it's unplugged, it's kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. I think that the other thing we have to keep in mind is like form factor. Like when Dan said, "Is this a big leap from Quest 2 to the Quest Pro?" One of the first things I look up is like feel, and like I don't know if the actual like product itself is stronger. I know people had issues with like the back of their headset snapping with the Quest 2. I don't know if the Quest Pro is gonna have the same issue. but we can at least maybe agree that like it looks the same as the Quest 2, which people did not find as comfortable without adding, third-party peripherals to make it a more comfortable experience. If you're spending $1,500, you want this thing to feel good on your face, to stay rested, and for not to feel like you're being bogged down. Based off this, it looks like it's not that much of a significant upgrade.
Yeah, just get the Quest 2 with the battery add-on. That thing makes the headset way more comfortable. Like I have that and I love it. It's amazing. Yeah, and that accessory I think is $100 maybe. So my total investment was like what, 500 total for that accessory and the headset, and they want you to spend 1,500 for a less powerful and less comfortable one, or I'm sorry, more powerful but less comfortable. Yeah, I don't know.
The thing that I bought was I replaced the entire head of it.
Yeah.
So you have like something that rests on the top of your forehead, and then this is like the the weight anchor on the back.
Wow.
And you can adjust both, like the original. You can adjust the back, but you can also adjust like this front stuff, and it's been a lot nicer resting on my head.
Yeah, that's cool. I've not seen that.
I guess the other thing I don't know about is the Pro controller. Like I don't know what the difference is between the original Quest controllers and the Pro controller. Like that might be a significant upgrade there. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I guess they ditched the rings. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, there's no rings.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do spreadsheets with my $1,500 VR headset.
Hey, there's a basketball mini game too, apparently. Oh my god.
Is there?
And it actually makes it harder to do the spreadsheets with this. Like, who's putting in spreadsheets with this thing? Like, what?
I don't know. Really don't know. I don't know if I can see any companies outside of, Facebook, Meta, using this. Like,
Dude,
who would want to invest this much?
the employees there don't even want to use Meta. Like the people
That's
that
true.
are working on Meta they're literally it's being forced upon them. Like in an article or a video I was watching today, it's like it's part of their daily, or not daily, but once a week routine to use Meta. Like otherwise they wouldn't use it. Like it's part of their work routine that they have to use it.
Wow.
And to I think not the exact quote, but I'm ad-libbing here. It's like, how are you going to fall in love with Meta if you don't use it? And they're making the employees use it in hopes that they will start enjoying it, or I don't know. It's really weird what's going on over there with the whole Meta thing. But everything that I've seen out of it doesn't look very promising yet. But yeah, it's so funny to just watch I'm like watching a video on it, and it looks so janky.
Yeah.
And they have so much money. So weird.
I think it's also kind of weird that one of the selling points so far from what we've seen from the Pro, like the kind of blog posts about it, is backwards compatibility. I mean, one would hope that if it's a Pro version of an existing headset, it would be backwards compatible with everything.
Right. Yeah, I would hope.
Otherwise, yeah, one would hope so. Which, okay, if it is, then again, why 50? There is no reason for me to jump from my Quest 2 to my Quest Pro.
No. Especially when they're probably going to release a Quest 3 at some point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless they don't. And
right.
this
That's
is
true.
right. But
I wonder if they'll release a lower end model. Like we are not originally. Well, we were kind of speculating when they first when we were getting teases of the look of the console or the MetaQuest. I wonder if they'll actually do that, or they just keep going up if they decide to release more consoles. Like if they'll have a more approachable entry.
I don't know if they would. They raised the price of their Quest 2.
Yeah.
They made things less approachable.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see how the Quest Pro shakes out when it releases. I don't think there was any release date.
I feel bad for developers too. Like, who's gonna develop for this thing? Like, you're not gonna have a
user base.
Yeah.
That is a really good point. I mean, what I would imagine is you spend most of your resources on Quest 2, since that's where most of the player base is anyway, and then spend additional resources on like it's the same game, but it's running a bit better because it's using the Quest Pro specs.
Fair.
And I granted that's not easy; they cost money to do, but
Right.
that's how I'd imagine it. I don't know. Is there anything that would get you to buy a Quest Pro? Halo Infinite VR porn.
VR porn? No.
I don't know.
No, there's literally nothing that could get me to buy a $15 or not $1,500 VR headset. That's insane.
It's $2,229 in Canada.
Oh my God.
Shit.
So definitely not going to buy it. Even if they put The Last of Us Part 3 exclusively
Exclusive?
on there, I probably wouldn't buy it. I probably couldn't. My God. Crazy.
I have to save up for VR 2 or PSVR 2 because I know I'm probably going to get that one.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I'm trying to make some video essays on VR, PSVR 2.
Exciting.
And I
Anyway.
think that just this price point just proves to us that PSVR 2 is not going to be on the lower end. It'll definitely be probably $500-$600.
That's the worry. That's the worry, Daniel.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It can't be anything more than half of this price.
Right.
It can't be 700. No one. Yeah. I don't know, man. We're like approaching a recession.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's going to be able to buy these things.
Yeah. However, I mean, I know that Sony just recently said that they are having like significantly less setbacks for production right now, not just with PSVR 2, but consoles as well. So I don't know. Maybe if they can, I don't know. Maybe there's something there that they can save a little bit of cost. I don't know. Who knows, Daniel? Who knows?
Who knows?
When do we even see the price of this thing? I don't know. Anyway.
No.
Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. This has been Podcast PXN. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Gage, who is at work. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, me. Oh, I did the other, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out.
Much love and keep on gaming.
See ya.
Look up Diva Rule 43 right now.